Hi, today I'd like to tell you the difference between punishment and discipline. My name's Steve Cowan, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt right here in Norwich, and we coach our kids' life skills program, teaching them martial arts, but also teaching them about the foundation of life skills like discipline. So what is discipline? You see, discipline is a way that we teach someone, whereas punishment is a way that we inflict a pain, whether it be physically or mentally. So in order to deal with discipline and coach discipline, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what we can do. You see, there's a couple of things we need to do first, and we need to get our own house in order. By the way, this post is totally inspired by a mentor of mine, Melody Johnson, who did a post on this, and I really just want to take it one step further, but all credit goes to her, of course. And it's simply this. It's like, if you're walking around and you don't have the time or the patience to deal with the child's attitude when they have like a temper tantrum or something like that, if you're constantly walking around like a loaded gun, an explosive time bomb ready to explode at the simplest thing, it's going to be very difficult to pass on the knowledge of discipline to the child. And if you're constantly finding that your child is always doing this type of behaviour and never getting out of this behaviour pattern, then somewhere along the line you need to address how you're teaching your child the traits of discipline. So what I want to do is why I've decided to do this, because I obviously have a lot of experience dealing with teaching kids in martial arts, but experience myself and understanding how easily it can be done wrong. I mean, for example, if your discipline is, I'm going to shout at my child, I'm going to smack my child, I'm going to be aggressive and mentally abuse my child, and tell them I'm going to take things away for months, and tell them they can't have this or that, or they're going to be this, they're going to be bad, or whatever it is, however you're doing it in that perspective, what you could be doing is making the situation worse for yourself, because now you're taking away the trust. So one of the biggest things we have as coaching our children is the trust that we have. I mean, they've got to believe that what we say is right. And if you're inflicting like a pain mentally, physically to your child, it's going to be very hard for them to trust you in the first place, which means they're not going to trust the lessons of discipline. You do it and you're going to find that behavior will continue and continue. So what we want to do is we want to look at it from a different perspective and prepare ourselves. For example, when a tantrum or a bad behavior is going to happen. So what you need to do, so there's three elements. So let's give a scenario. You're out around Tesco's and the child wanted a toy, for example, and now they're going to have a little bit of a tantrum. They're going to roll around on the floor, kick and punch their legs in the air. It's going to be embarrassing for you. So how are we going to deal with that situation? Well, first of all, we should have already got our own house in order, and we should be very patient. Okay, if you're not patient, you're that loaded gun, please reevaluate where you're coming from. You're going to need to be patient and calm the child down. If you have to remove the child, then remove the child. But we've got to be in the moment as well. So one, we have to be patient. Two, we have to be in the moment. And they call it being present, which means we're ready to deal with the situation. And we've got to be intentional about what we want to do. We're going to follow through with everything. So here's what we're going to do. So one, let's say that scenario, part one, we're going to connect with the child. We're going to find out why the scenario is happening, what is going on. So obviously, let's say they want that toy. We're going to connect with them calmly, and we're going to, part two, we're going to turn around, we're going to redirect everything. We're going to turn around and say, hey Joe, do you really believe this is the best course of action in order for you to get that toy? What else could you do? For example, is there another way you could do it? Could you do some jobs or something like that? Is this the best way and the only way you know in order to receive that toy or that desired attention or whatever it is? Okay, but you've got to be calm, and obviously you would have calmed the child down before. This is when they're jumping around on the floor, you're not going to start talking to them like that. But you've got to be patient, and that's the thing. Patience is a big skill that you must develop as a parent, as a coach, as a teacher. If you don't have the patience, you're going to need to work on that yourself. But yeah, we're going to redirect. So, I mean, let's face it, what we want to say to them, this is not the best course of action in order to receive the object that, or attention that you desire. Let's find a way that you can do that. And then we need to repair the situation. Make sure that we are being trusted. And how we're going to repair is we're going to set it up for the future, so that if it does happen again, which it will, we're ready to go straight into these scenarios of 1, 2, and 3. So let's reiterate on that. You, as the parent, are going to step one, you have to be patient. You have to be in the moment, present. Why is this happening? Okay, and you have to be intentional. You have to follow through with what you're going to do. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 for the kids is 1. You're going to connect with them. Okay, you're going to be calm. You're going to connect. You're going to find out why. Why are they there? Why are they doing this behavior? 2, we're going to redirect the behavior. Once we calm the situation down, even if that means removing the child, we're going to redirect. So you had this temper tantrum. Do you think that was the best way that you could achieve receiving that desired attention or that toy? Okay, and then we need to repair the situation. It hopefully doesn't happen again, but it will, remember. So we're going to try and repair the scenario, and that's our 3 elements of dealing with a temper tantrum. Now there's some points on the end there. Like I keep saying, you must be patient yourself. Don't be walking around like a loaded gun. I've seen it so many times, ready to explode, just waiting for the next time. Well, the next time my child does that, they're getting this or they're getting that. And remember, when you want to punch, so for example, a tantrum could be they got your phone and they've thrown it on the floor. I've seen that done before. Maybe it's broken, hey, you're never using the phone or the iPad or anything for the next month. So that is really overdoing the scenario and taking away the trust that you can put in your child. For example, now let's say they threw the iPad, let's say it's not broken at this point, they threw the iPad on the floor. If you turn around and say you're not having that now for a month, you're not putting any trust in your child, so you're not repairing the scenario. So really you want to shorten the distance that you intentionally take that away from them. So a couple of days is good, 48 hours is a good time limit. Melody Johnson says about 40 hours. 48 hours is a good number. So that after that 48 hours, we're going to give it back and we're going to be able to repair the scenario. We're going to be able to say, look, normally we would have to take this away for a week or a month, but I've only taken it away for 2 days because I'm trusting you to now not have that same behavior again. Okay? Well, anyway, that's our discipline versus punishment, and I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Remember, if you ever want to contact with me, my name's Steve Cowan here at Icon Jiu-Jitsu Team in Norwich, about any of these. This is just our discipline one. We have many more of these, focusing on respect and focus and listening skills. Self-control is a great one that we work on. Well, we work on these every single time within our class, within our jiu-jitsu class, our martial art class. We don't just work on martial arts, we work on life skills, and that's why we're doing so well. Unfortunately, we only have limited spaces because we do work quite individually with our clients. We don't want to fill them up so there's like 50 people in a class or anything like that. So we're definitely limited for space, but we do have a couple of spaces left, especially in our 4 to 6 year old and our 7 to 12 year olds. So if you're looking, there is only a few spaces though, unfortunately. If you want to help, you want help with something there, you can always hook me up. I'll be happy to answer any questions about how we're coaching here at Icon Jiu-Jitsu Team, or of course arrange a one-to-one and pop in and see us. I'll put a link above, and that's me, Steve Cowan, and I'm going to catch you real soon. And stay calm.